Well, good morning and welcome to Reels to Radio, a collaboration between KDUR and the Durango Independent Film Festival. Reels to Radio airs every morning this week at 10:30 a.m. and includes discussions with film festival staff and filmmakers. My name is Nancy Stauffer, and today I'm joined by a whole group of folks, and I'm not going to introduce them until I introduce them. So welcome to you all, though, and welcome to you listeners. I'm going to start out with a film that's coming to us from the adventure segment of the film festival, and this film is called Altai Frontier. We have with us Viv Smith, who is the director, and Erik who is the producer. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So this looks like a very, for an adventure sports film, a very interesting one. It also, you could almost call it a cultural film as well, couldn't you? Would one of you want to describe a little bit of the film for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I think actually the culture is the most fascinating part about this film, particularly if we're in a ski town right here and ski state. Everyone knows about skiing. What's fascinating is that China is trying to catch up. And so this is what this story is about.
So wait, China's trying to catch up, but this story is about a spot in China where they for centuries have been skiing.
Right, you just beat me to the punchline. So they've actually been skiing, they think, longer than the Norwegians. We guess about 10,000. They claim maybe 20,000 years.
Yeah, they have petroglyphs, carvings in rocks that show skiers, and they're touting 20,000 years.
So whether that date's correct or not, we're talking a very ancient history of skiing, and you can still see it, and that's what you see in the film. They take down trees, they carve them into skis, they put horsehair on the bottom, so those familiar with backcountry skiing are familiar with skins. It's actually the skin of a horse. That's where it originated from. And we see...
That kind of gives me the creeps, but well, keep going.
And it's a culture up there that uses everything.
Yeah.
They eat the horse, they use the bones for tools, and they use the hair on the bottom of their skis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hunting tool. It's a tool to go to move around the mountains.
And what we were able to do is we actually brought some rider, Joan snowboard rider from Telluride, ski mountaineer world champion from Crested Butte, and a few other skiers, Olympians. And we brought this modern culture over to intersect with these skiers over thousands of years and have the modern skiers experience it and show the world what the potential can be there. That was our mission for the film, is to show the potential.
And that's kind of the catch-up that we're talking about. China has this ancient history, but it's like it's been frozen in time. And so we were invited by the Chinese government to create effectively a film that showcases what they have up there and to bring in that modern skiing that we're so familiar with in the West, and merge it with this beautiful ancient ski culture.
And it's going to be one of the last times to do this. The Tuvan people, the gentleman in the film who makes the skis, he's one of the last of 2,000 people, these Turkic people, nomadics, that are disappearing. They're being integrated into the greater society. And so it's
sad. You want to promote skiing, you want to promote people to travel the world and to visit it, but you do risk these guys being pushed out, and eventually they will become extinct.
Mm-hmm. So is part of the push or part of the idea to allow people to ski on the forms of the types of skis that they make with the horsehair skins? And
it's certainly part. He, interestingly enough, when we interviewed him, he now has such an interest from tourists traveling up there. Right now it's mostly Chinese tourists that want to purchase his skis. They want to try and ski on them. They have traditional races on those skis, like a ski mountaineer race, but they use the old skis. But the Chinese government are interested in also bringing in that modern style, so you can come in as a ski mountaineer or a backcountry skier, and they want to give you the facilities to explore Chinese mountains.
Mm-hmm.
To give some context to the area, this is the Xinjiang Autonomous Region of Northwest China. You are not allowed to go up there as a Westerner. They're trying to bring their 1.4 billion up and create a ski culture inside their country. Westerners being brought over there makes it look sexy and cool and gets them excited to go up there. So it was.
So they're really not marketing to Westerners. They're marketing
not
to
at this stage. I mean, you can get in with you can meet people. You express some interest. There's been some Italians that have come over. They've invited people over. this starts to get into politics, but the Chinese government do tightly control movement in that region. So we got invited in, but it is to promote skiing within China as well.
So it's very special to be there.
And how did you get invited?
We'd been working for different Chinese adventure companies, event companies there, and we're known to be able to go out into these remote environments with very little structure or support and bring back world-class footage. And they asked us to go do that. As a matter of fact, they asked us 3 weeks before the first day of production, and wanted us to do a ski film without a helicopter and with a Chinese crew that didn't speak English, and we're good at doing that sort of thing. So they asked us to go do this.
It fits in a broader context of China. As you know, they'll host the Winter Olympics next time in 4 years. And they do have some ski resorts outside of Beijing. So we are part of that bigger puzzle for the Chinese government to create interest in adventure, and in this case it was winter adventure.
And in this film you will see the traditional skiing, and you'll see the Western athletes doing this, and it's pretty fascinating.
Who goes faster?
The Turkic guys, interestingly enough, if you can imagine a slat of wood, like a fence post or a fence paling, and you put horsehair on it, it has no edges, which means you can't turn it. And they use a long stick behind them like a rudder. So they actually lean back in their skis, which anyone who's a skier knows you don't do that. And they just book it straight downhill. And they use this rudder, this stick, to get a little bit of steering. So they are faster downhill, but
And the reason is these people are functional. This is a functional thing. They use it for hunting. So they're to get up and get back down and deal with their meat.
We had a bit of a laugh when we first arrived, because we're trying to figure out some mountains and figure out where they've gone and where we might go. And of course we're pointing up at the highest mountains. And they go, why would you want to go up there? And suddenly we look really silly because we said to come back down. And they go, well, you're not going to hunt.
No hunting.
There's no game up there.
So it was a really ridiculous notion we proposed to them.
Right. Did they ever come to understand that, or did
they thought it was pretty funny?
Yeah.
They never did comprehend why the heck we wanted to go up to the top of the mountain to have fun in this what is a really hostile environment environmentally. I don't think they quite understood that.
They were very impressed with the new ski equipment, how light the modern boots are, and how they clip in, because of course they just rope themselves onto, they just tie themselves on.
Did they get a chance to try out that equipment?
We did. So that's in the film. We did a swap, and it's actually funnier watching the modern guys. So the national champions, the Olympians that we'd brought over, those guys, as I said, there's no edges on the skis, so they are just
there's a garage sale.
Yeah,
they're falling over. It's
and
hilarious.
they wore the traditional garb also.
Which is very heavy.
And how did the Chinese skiers do on the more modern, edgier?
They're pretty good.
They are.
They're pretty good. I think they were impressed as to how well they do turn and how light they are. So.
And did you leave skis with them and snowboards or not?
No, we didn't. That was the athletes' equipment. We didn't leave any of that, and we didn't take any of their stuff as well. We were called in 3 weeks beforehand, but otherwise often we will leave some
we
stuff
did leave
behind.
some clothing behind,
Yeah, a lot
because
of
there's a bit of a side story in terms of making the film, the behind the scenes. We had a lot of snowmobiles, and we ended up using the locals to help us drive them up and down the mountains. And so our American crew were teaching the locals how to ride snowmobiles, and we had a lot of extra hats and gloves and scarves and jackets, and we gave those to those guys who helped us with the snowmobiling.
Well, it's my last question to you is the film that you are showing here, is that the film that you made that the Chinese government wanted you to make?
Correct. It is. It's a slightly modified festival version, so we've included an additional interview and things like that, and obviously there's no Chinese subtitles, but it's designed for you guys, and it's what the Chinese government wanted.
Yeah, and to put a fine point on that, it is what they wanted. So you'll see 2 Chinese writers in there that they made us put into the film and had to be in there. They also removed a couple of local individuals from the film because they were political dissidents, and so it was exactly what they wanted us. But we were able to keep the overall integrity of the story.
Fascinating. So you will be on Saturday. The film shows on Saturday at 2:30 at the Anima City Theater. You'll both be there?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So there are so many more questions to ask about this fascinating film, but we're going to move on, and that will allow you, the listener, to make sure that you show up at 2:30 on Saturday to ask the questions that now you have spinning around in your head and get a chance to watch the film. Thanks to you both, Vivian Smith and Erik Nachtrieb. They are the director and producer of Altai Frontier.
Correct. Thank you so
very
much.